Welcome back, Vol fans. We have a lot of information today. We're going to talk a bit about portal action, um, some big news as far as that goes, and talk a bit about the effect of Mike Matthews, how big a get that was for him to stay. Um, I thought that was huge, huge. I can't understate that, honestly. And I'll talk a little bit about that, and give my opinion on that. And as always, when I throw this stuff out there, I'm just a Vol fan, just like you guys. Uh, no expert here, just want to throw my thoughts in there. I love talking about Tennessee football, and I enjoy it. Me and Tim love it. You know, since we've been talking this stuff since we was little guys, big enough to know what football was, and we've always enjoyed it. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about a running back prospect out there, Maury Jefferson, how big a get that was. Talk a little bit about baseball team. Um, a little bit of everything. We're going to hit on quite a bit here. Let's first start off with, Mike Matthews. Uh, I'm going to say this. I was a little bit, as they say on VolQuest, ready to jump off the Henley Street Bridge when it looked like he was fixing to take off on us. That was a huge get for us as far as keeping him. Um, I know he didn't do a whole lot last year, but talent-wise, he was the most talented wide receiver we had, I feel like. Um, and we needed talent. We really, wide receiver positions, not where it should be. Now, I blame that partially on Pope, me personally. I would not be completely shocked if we don't make a move there in the next month. Would not shock me at all. But we'll see. We'll see on that. May not. But I could see some changes being made. I could also see Coach Eckler possibly taking off, maybe possibly going to, I think it was Nebraska. Um, we may get some actual coach movement. And in my opinion, if he did leave, right now he coaches special teams and the Leos. I would expect Coach Chop, which is not an official coach, but basically as close as you could ever get to one. He is probably, in my opinion, Rodney Garner's heir apparent. We don't want to lose him because he's a very good recruiter and a very good coach. In my opinion, he would take that spot, uh, which if that was to happen. We'll see if that happens in the next little bit. But you talking about Matthews a little bit. Um, you look at the other wide receivers that was in that class. Most every one of you know who Jeremiah Smith was for Ohio State. He roasted us. He roasted Oregon. Uh, uh, one of the probably the best wide receiver in the country, honestly. Um, Ryan Williams. I don't know if you know this or not, but he's 17 years old. Really good wide receiver for Alabama. Both of them guys came in the same class as Mac Matthews. Cam Coleman went to Auburn. He was also a 5-star in that class. He's probably their number 2 wide receiver. Had a very good year. T.J. Moore was also a 5-star in that class. Probably number 2 wide receiver for Clemson. So both those guys are well on their way of producing what would you think from a 5-star status would be like. Uh, Only 2 guys that hadn't really produced at that level is Mike Matthews. That was 5 stars in that class. And I think it's Micah Hudson. Uh, I'm not sure where he's at on that, but hopefully Matthews reaches that level. But I think it's huge because if we got portal guys, okay, we got Amari Jefferson, okay, transferred from Alabama here in the last week. Huge get. Staff really prioritized him. They thought very highly of him. He was a high 4-star. Kind of slipped in the rankings toward the latter part of the rankings. He was very high initially. I think the staff really valued him. Had a little bit of an injury issue at Alabama that kind of held him back some. But talent-wise, up there. Now, if you want to look at, our wide receivers from last year, did we lose a lot of production? Absolutely. And that bothers me simply because, like I was dealing with Pope, he don't do a good job of getting guys to come in here right off the bat and produce it. It usually takes them at least 2 years. So, um, so I wouldn't expect a whole lot out of Jefferson, but he is a talent, and you just never know. He has been in the game for a little while. But talent-wise, that wide receiver room looks much better. If you just go basically solely off talent, you got Matthews, Mari Jefferson. I think Brazel talented, and I expect him to have a big jump next year, just like seemed like every wide receiver in this program is in the last 2 years. Uh, First year hardly do anything. I would say he does something next year, and he needs to, has to. You can't expect true freshmen to come in and jump into there. You got Travis Smith that's coming in. Speaking of true freshmen, he could possibly, uh, if one of the true freshmen actually does come in, he's physically gifted enough. But the talent there, Travis Smith, Amari Jefferson, Mike Matthews, Boo Carter's going to play a little bit of slot for us. Braylon Staley's going to play some slot. Both those guys, very talented. More talented than Squirrel White, in my opinion. Uh, I think every one of them guys were probably more talented than Brew was. And probably even Thornton. I mean, Thornton's talented. He was a size, speed freak, uh, but never showed the little things, and maybe, like I said, maybe that's on Pope. We'll see. I'm not a big Pope fan right at the moment, as y'all probably noticed in the last few videos. But also in the transfer portal, huge news coming out in the last few days. As soon as this guy hit the portal, I was hoping we'd go after him, and we have. Emmanuel Pregnon, I think is how you pronounce his last name, offensive guard for USC. Had a third round grade out there, so it was kind of surprisingly he come back. So that also tells you he's wanting money. Okay, he had a real good PFFF grade, and he was second team All Big Ten. So you get him and Moy. Moy's probably gonna play guard, but could play center possibly. Uh, you could get a huge upgrade at those guard spots. Huge upgrade, in my opinion, over what we had. Spraggins was good at running, not very good in pass protection. Um, I think we could have a huge upgrade there um, if we could get this guy. But now this guy's going to be, we're talking major money here. Um, he's talking Oregon, which might be the leader right now. I hope not, but Pregnant's actually supposed to be in on the visit here in the next few days. And Ole Miss is also in there. So you got some heavy hitters as far as NIL goes. So hopefully we can pull him. I think we feel like he's a need. So sometimes needs, um, you make it happen. Okay. Another guy that we could be looking at in the portal, uh, I'm not sure say how you spell his first name or how you pronounce it. Scottre, Scotter. I don't know. Humphrey, running back from Montana State. Very productive, about 7 yards carry, decent size, decent speed, 1,400 yards last year. Good running back. And I'm not saying he's going to come in and be your starter, but we're wanting a running back to come in and compete and get some carries. And if he comes in, I would say he's a guy who gets some carries. So we're still looking there. As far as the other portal needs, when you're listening to people like Austin Price from VolQuest, who's just honestly the best in the business, you're probably thinking another wide receiver, probably a running back, possibly another offensive lineman, possibly a defensive tackle. It sounds like we're not going after a safety or a corner, even though I believe I would go after a safety. I really would. I think that was a weak spot for this team last year. But I think the staff feels like you can win with mediocre safeties, and we did last year. And we need to get better on offense. Have to get better on offense. And I think Pregnon would go a long ways in improving that offense. We got to have a better offensive line. You just ask Nico, because Nico approved of this one. He was all over this one. Let's talk a little bit about the baseball team. A little bit of information come out on them today. First of all, our preseason ranked number 5 from Perfect Game. We also had 2 second-team All-Americans in Dean Curley at shortstop and Nate Snead, relief pitcher. And also come out today was a top 75 freshman and for the coming year. And we had, five guys in the top 56. So not bad, not bad. Jaden Abernathy, kind of a utility guy who could play left field, could play infield. Speedster, number 6 on that list. Levi Clark, another utility kind of guy. I'm not sure where he's going to play at. Possibly catcher with number 21, Tegan Coons, which is probably going to be in our weekend rotation, was number 46. Anson Siebert was number 52. If he does anything, it's going to be toward the end of the year. He had a major injury, which probably the only reason why he came back to play for UT this year instead of going pro. That injury, I think, was a deciding factor there. And the Marin, he was like number 56. We'll see about that one there. That's another good one. When you got 5 guys in the top 56 players, that's pretty good. Tony V's got it rolling. Can't complain. This guy's got it rolling. Number 5 preseason. But I will say this though. When you look at that, we're number 5. 4 teams in that Southeastern Conference are ranked ahead of us. I don't have that list in front of me right at the moment. It's starting to escape me. But I remember Texas A&M was like number 1. I think Georgia was ahead of us too. Can't remember who the other 2 teams was. But Southeastern Conference absolutely loaded. Absolutely loaded. Year in, year out. So we'll see on that one. I just can't believe how tough this conference is. But kind of surprised we are ranked as far back as number 5, considered how we've been the most consistent team in the country the last few years. Other teams kind of go up and down, come in and out of the top 20, 25 teams. Tony V's got it rolling. And he's continued to have it rolling. Next year's recruiting class is fantastic as well. So, I know the basketball team lost to Florida. Road games are hard, but they was number 1. Baseball team, defending national champion, preseason number 5. Football team's going to be very good next year. Let's see how we finish this portal out. Let's see what the coaching thing shakes out. Let's see what the narrative is in spring practice. Do we make some adjustments on offense? I think we need to. I think teams have figured us out a little bit. I also think we didn't have great wide receiver play. Nico needs to play better. Offensive line needs to play better. Halsley needs to play better. Needs to coach better. So we need to make some improvements there. But if the offense plays better, and I think they will, the defense is going to be very good again. Will it be as good as last year? Maybe. Could be better. Could be slightly worse. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what they look like. Some of the news coming out of spring practice and stuff. Well, guys, that's all I've got. Tim should be back on the next video we shoot. And, remember, guys, we're sitting close to, we're slowly inching up to 1,000 subscribers. That is the threshold we need to start paying for some of this equipment we've bought to shoot these videos with. If you like it, man, I appreciate it if you subscribe. Hit that like button, which also helps us to put us out to other uh, Tennessee Vol fans. Comments also helps us. Uh, Give us your feedback. Let me know what you're thinking about this. Am I crazy? Are we wrong on this stuff? What did you think of Mike Matthews coming back? What does Amari Jefferson do? Uh, what do you think of the offensive line? What do you think about the offense? So let me know what you're thinking. I'd love to hear y'all's feedback. We get some really good comments in there sometimes, and I learn some stuff sometimes. I mean, it's interesting. I love the banter back and forth talking about this stuff. So remember, guys, more than anything, go Vols.